Hello, my friend. I have a special invitation for you. I have a new, potent, concentrated group coaching program called Crucible. We begin on April 10th. You can go check out timewitchery.com/crucible, and I'm going to tell you all about it at the end of the show. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Welcome to Mind Witchery. I'm your host, Natalie Miller, and I'm so glad you're here. Hello, honey bun. Are you a terms of endearment person? Are you into nicknames and terms of endearment? I so am. It's very rare that I call someone by their full name. I love terms of endearment. Okay, so hello, my darling. I thought today's episode, here between some elections in the United States and the holidays, I thought it might be a great time for a spell for navigating difficult relationships. And this is super fun. As I was kind of thinking about this spell and what I wanted to say, I got a message from a client of mine, from someone with whom I'm working one-on-one right now. And this particular client has a very difficult relationship with her mother. And what she said in this message, which is what I want to bring to you today, she said, I'm just realizing I don't need people to change. They're going to show up however they show up. I don't need them to change because I'm changing. That's what matters. I am changing. I don't need other people to change. And she said this after having gotten off the phone with her mom, who kind of acted as she generally acts. But my client got to be in a completely different space with it. In this space where she's like, I'm growing, I'm changing. And so I don't need you to be any certain kind of way. You can just be who you are. I don't have to expect you to be different. I can want you to be different, but I don't need you to be different because the thing is, I am growing and changing. So that is what I hope this episode and this spell will empower in you. All right, so here is the kind of foundational premise when we're navigating a difficult relationship. We must remember, I exist at choice. I do not have to be in relationship. As an adult person, I do not have to be in relationship. I can opt out. Now, it's very likely that there are lots of reasons that you have to choose to be in a difficult relationship. Okay? Perhaps you have a co-parent that you divorced. You opted out of the marriage part of that relationship, but you still share children with this person, and so you choose to be in a co-parenting relationship with them. It may be that there is someone at work that is really difficult. Could be a team member, could be your boss, and you want to stay in the job that you're in, and so you are choosing to deal with this person. It may be that it's like a neighbor or a family member, someone to whom you are adjacent a lot. Like you don't want to move and you don't want to give up completely family gatherings. And so you are choosing to stay in some kind of relationship with this person. Now, the terms of that relationship, the depth of that relationship, the boundaries around that relationship, those are all aspects of the relationship that you can shape and that I think you will want to shape from a position of empowerment, of understanding that you do have a choice. Right? So that's kind of underneath all of this is that idea. We always have a choice. And if you're like, no, Natalie, actually, I don't have a choice, I would love for you really to look at that relationship and to see that whatever reason you have that you have to be in a relationship is actually a reason you are choosing to be in a relationship. Yeah? Okay, so very important to start from there. We exist at choice. So here's then the way of thinking about it. That what we are doing when we are choosing to be in a difficult relationship is we are choosing to step into the challenge of it. In this way, the difficult relationship is growth fodder. It's like, this is going to be something that helps me to grow, that helps me to cultivate integrity. Like, I am choosing to step into the challenge of this relationship. And that, I hope, will feel so much better than, I just have to deal with this boss, this ex, this parent. No, you don't have to deal with it. You choose to step into the challenge of it. And again, this means that we're coming from a position not of victimhood, but of agency, of empowerment. Like, yeah, this is my choice. So that means that I get to choose what the challenge in the relationship is. So a lot of times in a difficult relationship, we'll be like, oh, I'll tell you what the challenge is. The challenge is this other person's bullshit, right? The challenge is this person who lies and doesn't stay true to their word, or the challenge is this person who is manipulative, or the challenge is this person who is a blatant misogynist or a closet racist. That's the challenge. And I'll just invite you to reframe that and to say, no, the challenge is actually, how can I be true to myself? How can I stand centered in my own values, in my own intentions, in the face of this person and their bullshit? It's a subtle shift, but I think it's a really important one. The challenge is not that this person won't keep their word. The challenge is, how do I stay true to me? How do I stand for me when this person is not true to their word? What does that look like? You see? So it's really not about them. Like my client said, I don't need them to change. That's not what I'm working on. What I'm actually working on is figuring out my position, is stepping into my power to grow and to change. Now, P.S., this doesn't mean that their change doesn't matter. Of course it does. I want them to grow the fuck up. I want them to do what they say they'll do. I want them to evolve out of their misogynist, racist bullshit, of course, right? But we can't make people do things. And frankly, it's not our responsibility. The thing for us to do is to stand so firmly in our own integrity and power that we are able to show a different way of being, to manifest a different way of being, to intensify this other way, this other way. And when we focus our energy on that, where we actually have power to make a difference, I think then that is what shifts the relationship dynamic. Yeah, because we're always co-creating a relationship. And so when our contribution is very clearly rooted in and cultivating more of what we want, then we're not kowtowing, we're not reacting. Like, our own contribution to the relationship is self-directed. You see? Okay. So in this spell, what we're up to is a radical self-centering. And self-centering, what I mean by that is that I am centering myself. I'm coming to my own values. I'm pulling together my different parts. I'm pulling together the part of myself that is choosing the relationship that I don't really want, but is choosing it anyway because she has her reasons. And I'm also pulling together the part that wants the relationship to be different. Okay? I'm pulling those two parts together. I'm owning the choice that I'm making. And then I'm centering my values, and all of that is conjuring up an integrity, an integratedness from which I get to relate with the other person. All right, my love, here is the spell. Here is the spell for navigating difficult relationships. The thing to ask ourselves is, who do I want to be in this relationship? It is what it is. It is how it is. They have their tendencies. I have my tendencies. Given the relationship, who do I want to be? It might be helpful in this moment to bring a particular relationship to mind, if you haven't already. maybe as soon as I said difficult relationship, you were like, oh, this might help me with them. Yeah. So bring this particular person to mind. And let's go a little deeper into the various components of who I want to be. Okay. So number one, how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? Maybe I want to feel unbothered. Maybe I want to feel cool. Maybe I want to feel calm. Maybe I want to feel steady. Right? So really pause for a moment. How do you want to feel in this relationship? Okay. And then try this one out. What are some of the parts of you who find it easy to feel that way? So in the relationship that I'm thinking about, there is a feminist part of me, an intellectual feminist part of me that can see so clearly where so much of the bullshit is coming from in this relationship. And I know that that part of me does feel unbothered by this other person. That part of me is like, oh yeah, that's crap. There's another part of me who's been healing, and it's like the part of me that is practicing mindfulness all the time. That part of me is able to be cool and calm in this relationship. Okay. And then what are the parts that have a harder time with it? So there's a part of me that tends to want to take responsibility for other people's feelings. Ooh, that part of me has a hard time in this relationship. That part of me wants so much to change the other person. Or there's a part of me that can shift into martyrdom, that can get very woe is me. And that part of me also, like this relationship can really hook that part of me and bring her right to the front of the line. So when you think about your various parts, what are the aspects of you that do feel the way you want to feel in this relationship? And what are the aspects of you that resist or feel another kind of way in the relationship? And where do you access these parts? Where do you access these parts? Like, I access my reflective, mindful part in coaching when I get coached, or in journaling when I sit with my thoughts really intentionally. I access the intersectional feminist in me when I read books by feminists, or when I watch TikToks by feminists, or when I talk with my feminist friends. Right? So those parts of you, how do you access them? Where do you access them? And how can you do more of that? How can you nurture that to help to strengthen their role, right? If you would like these parts to take the lead in this relationship, to say, all right, everybody, this is how we want to feel in this relationship, then doing more of the things that bring them forward will be really helpful. It might be that, I have this one friend, and when I talk with her about this situation, I feel so much better. That friend then becomes a resource for you to tap into. And when you are navigating a challenging relationship, resources are really helpful, right? Any kind of challenge. If I were going to run a marathon, I can't really imagine doing that, but let's just pretend. If I were going to run a marathon, I would want to be equipped. I would want to make sure that I had lots of carbs the night before. I would want to make sure that I had engaged some kind of trainer or training program. Like, I would want support in meeting that challenge. And you too, you can get support in meeting the challenge of a difficult relationship. Hello, as promised, here is a little bit of info about my new group coaching program called Crucible. You know what a crucible is? A crucible is a container in which transformation occurs. It's a strong container, basically like where you melt down metals so that you can make new things. You can make alloys. And my program is called Crucible because it is designed to give you a space where you can summon the courage, the inspiration, the momentum that you need to finally take action on, to finally manifest that thing that you have been wanting to do. And what is that thing? I don't know. That thing might be a new offer if you are an entrepreneur. That thing might be the idea for the book that's been swirling around in your head. It might be an outline for that book. It might be a whole short story. That thing might be a job description for the assistant that you've been wanting to hire. That thing might be your own podcast. Whatever that thing is that you keep thinking, oh, someday I'd really love to make this happen. Crucible says, let's do it now and let's do it together. So Crucible offers 7 weeks of group coaching. Crucible offers insight into how it is exactly that I take an idea and make it real. Right? Now, this is not about me kind of imposing my method onto you, but it is about sparking your own creativity and insisting on a self-honoring way of creating. Yeah? Crucible is about community with other people who are also making it happen. And I cannot even begin to put into words how valuable that is. How much of a difference it makes to be surrounded by other people who are expanding and growing into what's next. Crucible is in large measure about helping you to claim the time and energy that you need to create what's next. And so we'll use my anti-planner, Time Witchery, to do that. We will use co-working sessions that are hosted by Flow Club. I'm very excited about that part in particular. So Crucible is not assuming that you have the willpower and courage and time and energy to make this thing happen. In fact, Crucible says, oh yeah, let's give you a place to generate that, to generate all that you need in order to manifest what it is that you want next. So you are invited. You can go check out Crucible at timewitchery.com/crucible. We begin on April 10th. We go through April and most of May, and then we get to take off for the summer, having finally taken action on that thing that you've been toying with, flirting with, wondering about, dreaming about for so long. So again, more details at timewitchery.com/crucible. I super hope you will meet me inside.